And good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on Book Club Corner. I am Jewel Greene, and every Wednesday right here on Tobago Updates, we speak with a local author, talking to them about their book, about the literary arts, and their love for the written word. And today we have with us a phenomenal author. She is the former vice principal of the Scarborough Methodist School. She is the latest Commonwealth Poetry Podcast guest, and she's also a very educated person. She has a Bachelor of Education in Language Arts and a Master's. She's hoping to read for her PhD, soon. So we have somebody here with us who is a poet and an educator, and we welcome Maria Bristol with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. And of course, before we get into the book, we always thank our sponsors. We want to thank our wonderful sponsor, Neve from Eye for Design, right there in Lowlands, for this beautiful centerpiece that he's given us. Also want to thank the House of Zarabi, Monifer, fantastic fashion designer, for giving me this breath of sunshine and happiness today. I tell you, she's fantastic. You all got to get your outfits from her, right? Republic Day is coming up. You want to be outfitted for that day. And we also want to thank Joe Field Wines for giving us our libation today. We will be doing the 5 S's of wine tasting. But our guest here today, she has a non-alcoholic choice. We won't tell you what it is. So she will be sampling hers and I will be sampling mine. So we want to get into the wine, Maria. Well, I will tell you how it is and you can have some of yours, all right? So we have this wine from Joefield Wine. It is the sweet potato wine. It's a sweet, very light wine. And I'm going to be doing the 5 S's of wine tasting. And of course, we swirl the wine. We see the wine. We look at the color clarity. We sniff the wine. And we sip and we savor. Cheers. Well, Maria, you don't know what you're missing, girl.
I could tell.
Maria is a longtime friend of mine, and she is the treasurer of the Tobago Writers Guild. I have known her for quite a while, quite a lovely person, and I want to thank you for being here with us. We want to get into these poems today, right?
Sure.
We don't want to miss a beat. Maria has in this book, Tobago in Print, and this is a book that the Tobago Writers Guild has published itself. Oh gosh, you all seeing my stickies, as usual. You know how it is. And this Tobago in Print, Maria has 4 poems in this book, right? And we're going to be getting into her poems. But before we get into that, I want Maria to tell us about her experience. Maria was on the Commonwealth Poetry Podcast. Mm-hmm. And when was this?
That was last week. No, on the 30th of August.
Yes.
The day before Independence Day. We had
and they featured Tobago, you told me.
They featured Tobago.
So tell me, how did that come about? And what was the experience like for you?
It was really nice. It was a nice experience. I spoke to one of the Writers Guild person, Sister Lorraine Boris Phillip.
Yes.
She introduced me to Mr. Gladstone Solomon, who is one of the persons involved in Bees for Development. That is, they have apiaries and so,
yes,
of course, here, right? And he was doing this podcast concerning bees, but he said that he wasn't confident to do anything about poetry because he wasn't into poetry. Mm-hmm. So he was asking for one of our Writers Guild members to step up to the plate, and he asked me, and I said that was okay. So that's how I got involved.
That's so wonderful. I like when NGOs and friends, we just network, right? We don't just stay in our corner and say, I will do it on my own. I just love that. So he pulled you in. He's a beekeeper in Tobago.
Yes, he's a beekeeper in Tobago.
Right. And there's an apiary association.
Yes, that's right.
So he's
it's called
part of
Bees
that.
for Development.
Bees for Development. Yeah, we put in a plug-in for another NGO. Bees for Development. And he was part of that podcast. Go look for it. It's called Commonwealth Poetry Podcast, and it's fantastic.
Yes, it
we
is.
want all authors to get on that program, so we're working on getting that done. tell me, what poem did you do on that program, and what was the feel for you introducing Tobago to the world through that program?
Okay, now when they invited me to come, I selected some poems. So I said, okay, Trinidad and Tobago is known for Carnival, so there was one on Carnival.
Right.
And I know that Independence was coming up the next day, so I said, okay, I'll do one on Independence. And then I did another one. But while they were speaking, I found that there was an expectation that I should have done something on bees. So while they were talking, I said, okay, but I could write something while they are talking.
Of course.
So I started to write, and I wrote this poem on bees. And it came across very well.
Yeah.
They say it was the first time that someone did a poem on the spot on a topic that they were being interviewed on.
When you have talent, you could do these kind of things, guys, right? When you have talent. So in the Tobago Writers Guild, just giving you a hint. So at the end, we have the creative session, right?
Yes.
At the end of our meetings in the guild. And we usually on the spot sometimes ask people to do pieces, just write something. Maria is always ready for us, right? She always has a poem. And before lickety split, Maria's come up with something. So I could imagine you just sit down there and in 2 seconds, right?
And I came up with it, and they were blown away. They was like, this has never happened before. You just wrote that? I said, yes, I just wrote that.
Yes.
So they asked now that the BC Development, they have a monthly newsletter, and they asked permission to put the poem on the bees in there.
That is fantastic. Yeah. That's really fantastic. I tell you, we're doing great things. We're doing great things in Tobago. We're doing great things in poetry. We're doing things writing. The literary arts is just the most fantastic thing you can think about on the orange economy, because that's where the literary arts fits in, right?
Yes.
It's the most fantastic thing, I tell you. When we talk about poetry, tell us what that is exactly. Because, yes, most of the time when you hear the word poetry, all people think about is rhymes. Right?
Yes.
So, the cat and the rat and the bat and they start to make sure, every line has to rhyme, right? But poetry is more than just rhyming.
Yes, it is. It's
tell us what poetry is really about, and what does it mean to you?
It's just like expressing your thoughts. So, you may see something, a lot of social issues are out there, and you might, think about it and you write something. It doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. Sometimes a rhyme could be every other line. Sometimes it could be no rhyme at all. But you just write. Yes. Whatever comes to you, you just write. Sometimes I may go out somewhere and words start to flow. So I may just have a napkin from my table, so I just take a napkin and start to scribble something
the
on
inspiration.
it. Because yes, if you don't write it down, as soon as it comes to you, you're gonna lose it.
I tell you, that is the flow, guys. When we talk about the inspiration and the flow coming out of you as a creative, as a poet, as a writer, this is what we're talking about. When you're just out there and the inspiration just hit you, right? Like how Bob Marley said, when the music hit, you feel okay. You just got to write it down. Because you're gonna lose it. It's gonna just
we'll just go from
that flow just like a breeze. It just passes. You gotta grab it quickly. I tell you, talent, guys, talent over here, this is Maria Bristol. Let me tell you, Maria Bristol is a daughter of Trinidad and Tobago, living in Tobago since she was a small child. Maria just is so full of talent and how to put it, she is the most kind and peaceful person I have met, especially as an educator. It's a lot you all have to deal with as teachers, and you all do put out a lot. And I want to thank you for that as well, being part of the education system here in Tobago and for doing your part. Yeah. We want to get into these poems because, we like to be read on Book Up Corner. So Maria has 4 poems in this book. And I want Maria to start us off. All her poems are nice, but let us start with the dedication to workaholics. Okay. Let's start with that.
All right. Okay. This poem is titled, Dedicated to All Workaholics, and I'm sure lots of you can relate to this. I thought of having a day off to rest, but it wasn't my birthday, so I thought I'd let it wait. because there was so much still to be done. I thought of having a day off to rest, but it wasn't Father's Day or Mother's Day, so I thought I'd let it wait because there was work that had to be done. I thought of having a day off to rest, but it wasn't my anniversary, so I thought I'd let it wait because my schedule was still too tight. I thought of having a day off to rest, but it wasn't a public holiday, so I thought I'd let it wait because the time was just not right. Well, you finally got the time off to rest. It was a very special day. It was your funeral. You had finally burnt yourself out. So now you rest for eternity.
Guys, I don't want to laugh, but it's how she said it. It was a very special day.
Yes.
It was your funeral.
Yes.
Guys, the workaholics. This is a serious thing we're talking about, you know. I mean, I'm tickled pink by how she, you know, how she's laying it out there first. But it's very serious. We need to take care of ourselves.
Yes, we do.
Self-care is important.
Yes, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Yes.
And you can't contribute anything to anybody.
No, you can't pour from an empty cup,
That's
right?
right.
So you need to fill that cup,
Amen.
and self-care is one of the ways of filling that cup.
Right.
You know, we had that DIY segment right before Book Club
Yes,
Corner
that was
with
very
Janelle,
interesting.
and that lovely segment where they were mixing, you know, doing the scrubs and all of that.
Yes.
And those are some of the health self-care
Exactly,
things, right?
yes.
So
Pamper yourself.
yes, call the young lady. She's gonna put her information in comment. Call her and get her products. You need to take care of yourself because we do not want the next time you get your rest
It's
is
your
at a
funeral.
very special day, which is your funeral. Okay, we don't want that.
No.
So I'm looking at this poem. What inspired you to write about workaholics? Are you a workaholic, Maria?
Yes, I played.
I
I'm
got this
guilty.
feeling.
Yes, I'm
You were
guilty.
speaking to yourself here.
Yes. And I'm always going on. My children say to me, you are just like your mother. My mother was always active, up and down. Social work. She was in every group that you could name, and she was really, really active and contributing. And like the genes rub off.
Yes.
Like it rub off because I just find myself going. And my trainer say, so mommy, you're going to another meeting. You can't stay home a little bit. You're just running up and down. You need to take care of yourself.
Yes.
You need a holiday. You need a rest. But so I'm guilty. Guilty as charged.
Many of us are, you know.
Yeah.
It's a learned behavior, this
Exactly.
workaholic thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't want to put my mouth in to say if it's good or bad because my mother was a terrible workaholic.
Okay.
She went to university, and while she was at university, she used to make us feel shame. I'll tell you why. This woman would come home the second week of being at university. You know when it opened, just give you all the
Yes.
assignments.
Of
And
course.
she would come home the second week and talk about, you all will drop me to the library this weekend? You can have the car. I go in and do work. I'm like, you just, like the term just started. What's the hurry?
rush?
She finished her assignment within 1 month of starting and talking about, I have to go for my bibliography and and we there, you know, because she went to university late because she wanted to be there for us.
For the children,
yeah.
yes.
So she put off because she had started a degree in social work and she stopped and went back after. And I used to be saying to myself, good grief, have mercy, where she's get all
The
this drive?
energy.
We ate no, let me tell you, we ate no KFC. I didn't know you could go in KFC and buy food, you know.
Okay.
She cooked every single day of our life, you know. You couldn't bring home anything, you know. Everything she could make home for free. We digress, though. But this workaholic thing is serious,
Yeah,
guys.
very
Take
serious.
care of yourselves. Parents, be careful you don't give your children that legacy of workaholism.
Yes.
Be careful.
Yes.
Right? It's lovely for them to see that you're doing things, but it's also extremely important that they see that you're taking care of yourself so you can be the best you, the best mommy, the best daddy, uncle, auntie, granny, the best you that you can be. Right? It's very important.
Leisure is very important.
Oh, yes. Well, we're heading into another poem that speaks to coming down from activities to more leisure, because we know that people, it's synonymous that when you getting older, you slow down.
Yes.
But some people don't, huh?
No, some of us retire. We put on new tires and we are going again.
I love that one. I'm stealing that one, Maria. Some of us retire, guys, she said. They don't retire to go home and rest, right? They
Put on
change
new
their tires, right? Like how they do in winter and stuff. They put on new tires so they can start fresh.
Yes, and then you start again.
Yeah. We're going now to talk about this poem. Maria, I want you to read this first. This one has a little more length. Aging with Dignity on page 130. So give us half of the first page. That's
Half,
okay?
okay.
Yes, give me half of the first
All
page.
right,
Thank you.
Aging with dignity. So you think you could treat me any old way? I hope you realize you're going to reach here one day. I'm old now, so you think I'm so derelict and useless. And you at your peak, so you deserve only the best. Who tell you I want to live in home for the age? After I work hard, build my house and always manage. So you put me here well out of your sight. And you do your duty by visiting once every fortnight. Then all you collect in my hard-earned pension. Force me to sign it and not a red cent past my vision. You love to talk down to me as if I was a little child, shouting as if I'm deaf and cussing me all the while. Yet, when you bring your big-time friends and the family to visit, you're hugging and kissing me, and in the seat of honor I sit. Why you think you have to treat me as a nuisance? And to your tune, you always expect me to dance? Long ago, the elderly was treated with respect and dignity, but nowadays, we treat it only with contempt and pity. In the past, if you go to a function or ride in a bus, a youth would give the elderly the seat without any fuss. But that ain't happening now at all, at all, at all.
Guys, we're just gonna let that linger in here. We're going to a break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking about the elderly, aging with dignity, and this style of poem, it differs from the other poem you just read. I noticed that. So we're going to a break, guys. Stay tuned. Don't touch your TV. Go for a snack and come back. We'll be back with Maria Bristol and her poems. Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. This is Book Club Corner, and we're here with Maria Bristol, the latest guest on the Commonwealth Poetry Podcast, and we're talking to her about her poems in the book Tobago in print, and this book is done by the Tobago Writers Guild. Before we went to break, Maria read for us a poem called Aging with Dignity. And we see in this poem, let me first, before we get into the theme of the poem, what I want to discuss is the flow of the poem. Because the poem you read before, which was dedicated to all workaholics, you have verses. But this one, it's literally like a short story. Yeah. So if you can, tell me about the difference and why you're treating with this topic in this way in terms of doing a whole block instead of the verses that you broke it up into in the other poem.
Right. Well, I think that I thought of having it like a monologue, setting, and then I wanted to perform it. Right. So it was better in this format. And then I used dialect. The other poem was standard English, but this one is dialect. Because then I want to get over the point. And it is a reality, It's sadly a reality of you age and your family members, for whatever reason. You know, sometimes they think that they can't take care of you adequately and they put you in a home. But I know a lot of psychologists are saying that, you know, the unfamiliarity of the home helps the person to deteriorate faster than if they were in a familiar setting.
Of course.
And that must be a whole other debate.
Yes. But this poem, when I saw how you laid this out in this way, or like a short story, because you were doing it in a monologue.
Yes,
you wanted to deliver it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember for one, I think it was Literary Affair.
Yes.
You did this.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tobago Writers Guild has annual events. One is the Literary Affair, and Maria performed this piece.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a really great. Yes. She's a really great performer. But when I read this poem, the theme that jumped out for me, obviously, right, is about elders.
Yes.
And elder abuse.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things we don't like to talk about.
True.
But guys, let me tell you, it's real, it's serious, and it shouldn't be happening. It's unfortunate. And I know not all persons who become elders were nice people, right? Yeah. Let's be honest. Not everybody who is now an elder was an angel, but elder abuse is a serious thing. And the poem is talking about here, where you talk about, and as you said, you did this in our vernacular.
Yes.
Right? Our parlance.
In our parlance.
Right? Where it is, you spoke like, you're literally talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Just a regular Caribbean Tobago person. And I like when it said, force me to sign it, and not a red cent past my vision.
Yeah, because they do that.
Yes.
Yes.
They take your pension.
You see them, and when it's pension, they come and they force you to sign the check, and they you hand it over to them, and that's it. And you don't see them again until the next pension date.
Elders out there, we want to tell you we love you, we respect you, and keep your life going. Not because you're finished in your working world and have now, as Maria said, retired, right? And, put on new tires. You don't go anywhere, you don't do anything. I'm speaking to the elderly women as well, because they're the ones who, usually stop going out a lot of times. Keep your life going. Keep your friendships going. Keep doing things. Keep moving. If you read, this is a perfect a best hobby for an elderly person. You see, reading, get your books, and you don't even have to buy them. Secret, I'm telling you. Go down to the library, join the library, and you get free books.
Yes.
Free books, you don't have to pay. Yes. So get your life still moving. Keep doing things. Go down to the library, become a member of the library. You can go there and spend the day. There is an area for elderly persons, persons over 60 in the library. I went into this area, I didn't even know, and somebody promptly came, "Hi, excuse me."
In the wrong section.
Yeah, are you retired? Are you an elder? I said, "Excuse." She said, This is not for everybody. This area is only for right."
Reserve.
Yes. So I had to pick up myself on my laptop and vacate. But that's just to tell you, the library makes provisions first. So go down to the library, get yourself a library card. It's free for your first card, and relax yourself there. Enjoy reading. Even in retirement, reading is a perfect hobby. And you can start writing. You can become a writer in your retired years.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, this literary arts thing it's sweet. It's sweet, guys. It's real sweet. We're going to be wrapping up. But when we're wrapping up, we're going to, because Maria is reading to me so sweetly. I'm enjoying it so much. We're going to be reading with Maria Bristol her poem, Misunderstood. Take us into that. So it's half and half. Read the first half for me, please.
Sure. Misunderstood. Wait, I can't believe what I see. You're really shunning and scorning me? I didn't always have this disease, I didn't go out and get it just so. I was a happily married wife. I thought I had the perfect life until my husband started to stray, and now he has come to rue that day. He knocked from pillar to post, a lifestyle that made him give up the ghost. He gone and leave me now to suffer, branded with this dreadful HIV/AIDS stigma. People shunning me and my children, leaving us without one single friend. I lose my job. No one want me around. That's why I begging all wrong tongue. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't have money for food or treatment. My problems have robbed me of every cent. What will become of my children when I'm dead? Lord, how that thought hurt in my head. I've always tried to be a good person, but my spouse liked having outside fun. So he ended up tainting my whole life. Into my heart he thrust a fatal knife. So who are you to stand in judgment? You better ask the Lord to help you repent. Remember what you do to one the least like me. Don't you know you do unto thee?
Let's stop there. So listen, every one of these poems, Maria, you done us real hard today. You're giving us things to think about,
Exactly.
Food for thought, elder abuse, workaholism, and now we're talking about the HIV/AIDS stigma.
Yes.
And at the root of that is discrimination and judgment.
That's right.
You know?
Because, persons, you don't know my history, you don't know my past, you don't know anything about me, but you're judging me based on what you're seeing, how I'm appearing.
Or what you've heard, because we like this.
Oh, yes.
We love the little ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Yeah. You don't even know if it's true sometimes.
Or not. Yeah.
I tell you. So we're wrapping up with these poems. Maria Bristol, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
As usual. Such a lovely author. Guys, get into writing, get into the literary arts, and get this book as well. It's the Tobago imprint, and it's published by the Tobago Writers Guild. And this is just volume 1. Maria has over 100 poems. She will be published in volume 2. That's coming soon. I want to thank you for tuning in with us today. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Thank you for you viewing across the Caribbean and in Trinidad and Tobago. And come back to meet with us next week when we speak to yet another local author, an educator, the former head of the public service, Mr. Reginald Dumas. Cheers to you, Maria.
Cheers.
And cheers to you.